we're explaining how we say that Ein Sof L'mayla Mayla Den Ketz. What does it mean that the Ein Sof is L'mayla Mayla Den Ketz? It means that even the way the Ein Sof comes into this world, that it is concealed. It's a lack of revelation. And to explain that, he went into what the Baal Shem Tov says, that Bereshis bara Elokim, all of that indicates how Hashem became clothed through Midas HaGevura in the whole process of Tzimtzum. It becomes a clothed in the letter Aleph, then it closes in the letter Beis, and so on, which means it comes down to Chachma, and then it comes down into Atzilus, and then from there into Bria, until it comes down to Toyu Avoyu V'chosh Chapnei Soim, the levels of Klippus, and this was all through the midah of the Shem Elokim. And that's how you have Ha'aretz, that you go all the way from Shemayim, that comes down here till the level of Aretz as well, that comes down into the earth as well. So now, he's going to go back to explaining what the Frierdiker Rebbe's Maimer is saying about the Ein Sof is L'mayla Mayla Den Ketz. So again, we're holding the 5th page of the Maimer, line 14. So he says, moving for this understood, there's the infinite light of Hashem, the way it's revealed before the Tzimtzum. Like the Frierdiker Rebbe himself brings further on in the Maimer, there was a pure, undefined, non-complex revelation and light that filled up all the entire existence, or like something that says the potential of existence. And afterwards, the light became constricted and enclosed in many garments, like we mentioned before in the quote from the Baal Shem Tov. Going back to the expression of Maimer, the Frierdiker Rebbe, Behelem achar helem, concealment after concealment, ubeilui achar ilui, and in ascent of the light and of higher ascent, in such a manner is the oir so removed, it's in a way of that the oir is lacking, and there's a lacking of revelation. So the Rebbe is going to explain this double expression, lacking of light and lacking of revelation. This concealment and this ascent of the light that was previously filling the entire existence is in two manners that they are concealed and elevated. One thing is heder oir, that the light is lacking, the heder agili, and the revelation of is lacking. Heder oir would mean that the light is lacking. That he removed and placed his light on the side. The heder agili, and the lack of revelation means shafilu ba'mokim sheboi nimtza, even in the place where the light does exist, that is found over there, that wasn't removed from, it's in such a manner that the light is not revealed. It's present, but it's not revealed. According to this, he explains the Maimer idea of how much higher to no end it is, that even though the Ein Sof may be present, but it's not revealed. Similar to what the way he explains previously, and how we can understand how the Ein Sof is down below to no end as well. Now the Rebbe is going to bring from the Mezritcher Magid a similar idea about Hashem's being here, though he is not revealed. Line 27, last paragraph on the page. We can add concerning the constriction and concealment about how high it goes to no end. according to what's explained in the teaching of the Mezritch Magid. Berimzei Torah Parshas Ba'aloischom, in his what's called the hints on the Torah on Parshas Ba'aloischom, ala pasik asel chashtei chatzoiters kesef. The Mezritch Magid says in the pasik, make for yourself 2 trumpets of silver. And we know chatzoiters. The Mezritch Magid explains, the Rebbe brings it down very often, it's in the word, you can divide into 2 words, chatzi tzuros, shtei chatzi tzuros, 2 half forms, that Hashem and the Yidden are like 2 halves of one entire form. So the explanation for this is that the Mezritch Magid says as follows: HaKadosh Baruch Hu also kama tzimtzumim, derech kama ilmis, Hashem made many constrictions through many worlds, kedei sheyeh achdus im ha'adam shlo yochol lisbol es behirasai, so that there should be able to be the union of Hashem with the person, that ordinarily, if not for all these tzimtzumim, if not for all these worlds, the person would not be able to handle the brilliance of Hashem's light. That is what Hashem did to come down to us. What do we have to do to connect with Him? Adam tzarech lifroish as atzmoi mikol hagashmis, top of page U. The person needs to separate himself from all the physical ad sheyaled derech kol ha'ilmus, until he goes up through all the worlds via achdus HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and then there will be a unity with Hashem. Va'az yikare Adam. When that unity between him and Hashem takes place, then he's called Adam. Ki Adam shalamato rak daled mem. The Adam down here below is only the letters of daled mem before he joins with Hashem. The hainu, the daled mem, is the Rosh Tevis of the words dibur, machshava, speech and thought. When he cleaves and becomes joined with Hashem, that Hashem is the Aleph, the master, the boss of the world, he becomes Adam. Aluf is in the word Aleph, just like the Aleph of the word Echad goes on Aluf Shaloilam, the same thing, the Aleph of the word Adam. The Adam is only a complete Adam when his Daled and Mem, when his Dibur Machshava, when his Metzias joins with Aluf Shaloilam. That's the 2 trumpets of silver. A person is considered a half a form, like we said before, which is only the Daled Mem. Va'alef levad kaviyachol gam kinei tzura shleima, and kaviyachol Hashem is also only an Aleph, and he's missing the other form to make Adam. But when they join together, Nasa Tzura Shleima becomes a complete form and complete Adam. So the Rebbe derives from this. Move on. From this is understood, though there's many constrictions, one concealment following another concealment. Lost my place. Mikol Makim still in all. It's not in such a way that the light has no connection with the place that it becomes concealed in. That means that it's completely removed from the entire idea of revelation. No, it still has a connection with the revelation despite the concealment. The ultimate purpose is why was all these tzimtzumim there? Like the Mezritch Magid said, it's because the Hashem wanted that the light should come down the place that the person is found. In a way of unity that should affect in an internalized fashion. This means that the person not on his own, he's only the Daled Mem. He should break through all his physicality, which blocks the union of the Aleph with the Daled Mem, which doesn't allow him to be joined with Hashem. Will go up from below to above until he joins with Hashem. Shezeu ha'alef, that is the idea of the letter Aleph. Aluf Ishaloilam, the master of the world, Ba'ifin Shal Achdus Tzura Shleima, in a way of oneness, that he's a complete form, because he has now the Aleph joined with him, he's joined now with Hashem. So that's the whole idea of Lamai Lamai and Ketz, that even in the Helam there is the Ein Sof over there, so he's always has that union with Hashem. Now, Nois Gimel, he's going to analyze another part in the Ois Tesvav of the Frierdiker Rebbe's Hemshech. Line 21. Mamshel Bar Maimer, the Maimer of the Frierdiker Rebbe continues in Ois Tesvav. The Hinei Lifnei HaTzimtzum Haya Ein Sof Begili. Before the Tzimtzum, the infinite light of Hashem was revealed. Like it's brought down in Eitz Chaim. Before the emanated beings came into being. In other words, like Atzilus and so on. The supernal light that was pure, unadulterated, non-complex, filled the entire existence, v'chulu, etc. Through the Tzimtzum Arishon, so the infinite light of Hashem became concealed. So the Rebbe is going to say, from this quote of the Frierdiker Rebbe's, we can derive something interesting. So the Rebbe now comments on these words of the Frierdiker Rebbe, moving in Yenoisef. From this understood an additional concept. The Tzimtzum was only in the level of the light that would fill the entire existence. As opposed to the way the infinite light is above, the way it's in its root, the way it's part and contained in Hashem's very essence. Over there, it's not possible to say that the higher light was pure and was filled the entire existence. Over there, it's only the level of capability, possibility, potential. Also, the constriction doesn't apply. In other words, where is the tzimtzum? Where there was actual light. Where it's only a state of potential, what's called yecholos lahayir, the way the light is part of atzmos, over there the entire idea of tzimtzum doesn't apply. Like the Alter Rebbe explains that length in Torah Oiram Kut Torah, the idea of the first tzimtzum and the empty space that was created through that tzimtzum is only in the light of that's Ein Sof. In the luminary, in the source of the light, the idea of tzimtzum doesn't apply, heaven forbid. This means there's an idea of light that it's applicable over there, expansion. Tzimtzum. So the idea of tzimtzum applies over there because you're dealing with a level that is expansive. So something that expands, so you can constrict. When we say that through the constriction, so there remains the empty space. This is only concerning the light. It's empty of the light, not empty of Hashem's essence. Initially, the light was revealed in a way that it filled up the entire existence. That's why there was no room for the existence of the world. Because of the great brilliance of the light, like we had before in the expression of the Mezritch Magid. And after the Tzimtzum, when the light was concealed, it became an empty space. What did it become empty of? It means that its emptiness is it's empty of light. that there is no light and revelation in that space whatsoever. But the luminary, the source of the light, Hashem's essence, even after the tzimtzum, the light is revealed everywhere. Like it's brought down. That's why even children know that there is an existence that is Hashem. This is why Hashem's name is always on everybody's lips, because it's not something that has to do with revelation and thought and feeling. It's just there because of its presence. Okay, so now the Rebbe is going to analyze some more about this process of the tzimtzum, the Ein Sof that filled all potential space, all potential existence, didn't allow for existence, and then there had to be the tzimtzum. So he says in the second paragraph on page Yud Aleph, line 16, we still need to understand concerning the revelation of the Ein Sof before the tzimtzum. It was a higher light, unadulterated, non-complex, pure light that filled up all being and all existence. So the Rebbe asks the question, the Lechura, seemingly, since it's the true idea of an infinite light. So when you say about something being infinite, that means that there is no limitations placed on it. There's no categorization. The entire idea of description and boundaries do not apply over there, because that's what the word Ein Sof means. Ein Sof is not something that can be described. As soon as you can describe it, so you're boxing it in. You're giving it a neat description, which means that it has a limit. Therefore, we must say that the Ein Sof, since it is completely without definition, it must have both the limited type of light and it has the light that's without boundaries. Both a light that allows room for existence, that's the Oir HaGvul, and also a light that doesn't allow for place for the existence of the world. It wasn't that all of a sudden, after the tzimtzum was created, a type of light that allowed for the existence of the world. Everything was there before the tzimtzum. So the Rebbe asks a very simple question. So he says in line 23, what's the reason that there was a revelation of the infinite light of Hashem in such a way that it filled all existence without allowing for room for the existence of the world? Why did Hashem make that, if you will, in such a way? Because it had also the possibility for being the other way, that the light should have been the limited light. To be able to explain this question, so now he's going to quote another part of the Maimer that the Friedrich Rebbe addresses this issue. Line 27, the idea behind this is, the Isa of Avodas HaKodesh is brought down the Sefer Avodas HaKodesh, Ein Sof Baruch Hu, the infinite light, the infinite Hashem, Kishem Sheyesh L'Koach V'Bli Bal Gvul. Just like he has the power in something that's without boundaries. In other words, Hashem is infinite. Hashem has no boundaries. So too, he has a power in the boundary, in the limited things. If you want to tell me there's a power in something that has no boundaries, and it doesn't have the capability and potential in boundaries, so then you are detracting from his completion and perfection, and you can't say that he's missing anything, that he's imperfect. The vein selfish lemusa the kula. that the Ein Sof is the perfection of everything. Upirish the Shleimus Ein Sof, and the meaning of the perfection of the Ein Sof is that it's not just infinite, but it also has the finite. Still in all, now we're going to come to the crux to answer the question. So if he has both, why have it this way, not that way? On the Kol Makom line 5, still in all. Livnei Tzimtzum Hayagilu Ha'erin Sof Habli. Before the Tzimtzum was a revelation of the infinite light of Hashem that had no boundary. And the limited power of the Ein Sof was concealed. That's what it means. That's what the Eitz Chaim says, that there was a higher light without any type of adornments or complexities. It was pure, it was simple. That shows that it's an infinite light without any boundaries. Memale kol makom matzias, filled the entire place of existence. All that was felt was the level of the infinite that has no boundaries. The power of boundaries that's in the infinite, that's in a level of existence, and Yeshus was not felt whatsoever. In other words, each part, each aspect of the Ein Sof had to share or had to be one at the expense of the other. When the infinite light is in a revealed way, the light that is bounded, the limited light, is not felt. Though the light that's bounded, as we said before, has to be there, because or else there's lacking the shleimus of the Ein Sof. The Ein Sof cannot be imperfect or incomplete. Still in all, it's not felt, it's not manifest. What's felt is only the light that has no boundary. And because that's the light that is felt, there is no room for the existence of the world. So that is why we had this type of issue that we needed at Tzimtzum, because what was manifest was the Ein Sof Habli, and the Ein Gvul was subsumed in that and not felt. Line 16. When you're not Tzimtzum, for this is the purpose of the Tzimtzum. It's in such a manner that he completely constricted his light. Therefore it became an empty space, meaning that it became that there's no light and revelation whatsoever, like we mentioned before. And afterwards, after you had that Tzimtzum, he drew down this narrow and thin line. From this narrow and thin line, became the creation and the existence of the world. In other words, now the Koyach HaGvul could manifest itself. Before, the Koyach HaGvul was overwhelmed and hidden because the Ein Sof Habli filled everything up. Only once we had the Tzimtzum could the Ein Sof Habli, through the Tzimtzum, it was placed on the side. Now we have a thin line, meaning now we have the Koyach HaGvul, the Ein HaGvul, come to be revealed.